Okay, I'm going to do a TyranoBuilder tutorial. Specifically, I'm going to talk about how to basically make a map uh, that is an image that you can then click on in order to get to different rooms. All right, so it's not going to be exactly that. What I'm going to do is, well, I'll show you. So the drawings I'm using, I'm making some drawings for this event that Gatoreth made, where basically we're making games that are inspired by this book by Christopher Manson. So I'm going to show you what we're trying to go for here. So in this room, we're going to have it be able to, you can click on a door in order to go to a different room. So if I click on 20, I'll go to room 20. If I go to click on 26, I'll go to room 26. We're going to use the same image. And so you can imagine, like, if it's just like, if it's a top-down view of a bunch of rooms, like an architectural plan, it would work the same way. You'd just have clickable areas that would take you to different rooms. But in this case, we're going to actually have doors. But I'm going to do my own rendition of it. Um, so I'll show you. You'll see those pictures. So I hope that was clear what we're doing. Maze project. It's going to be the name of our project. It's going to be a standard visual novel. We're going to do width. Oh, well, we'll just go with this one, landscape. Create new project will be fine. Alright, so first we need to import the images. So we're going to go to Assets. We're already in Backgrounds. Add Files. Okay, and then I got my folder open of all of my drawings. These are all JPG files, so I'm highlighting all of them by clicking on the first, pressing Shift, and then clicking on the last one. I'm just going to drag all of them over here. Right? Then, so now we got all our files. We're going to close this. So on scene 1, let's just make this the the entryway, the first thing that we see. Now, by default, it's got this school. TyranoBuilder does in every project that starts, but we're just going to, we're going to click on background image, browse, and then choose this one instead. We're going to select entryway instead. So it's replaced that image. Then we're going to get rid of this text because we don't need the text. So now what I need to do is I need to add I need to save. And then I'm going to add a scene for this to take us to. It makes it easier if you add the scene first before adding the clickable image. So our new scene is going to be called 1, because it's going to be page 1. Let's go ahead and add a page break and a stop. And we can even add the image. It won't hurt. So we're going to say change background. Then we're going to go to browse and click on page 1. So now we're going to have page 1. I want to save it. Go back to scene 1, which is different than 1. Scene 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to components and we're going to add a clickable area. This is the component we're going to put, and we're going to put it after the image. So then if you go over here to positioning tool, you can say where you want the clickable area to be. See this dark square here? This is the clickable area. So if you hover over it, you'll get a compass rose, which you can then drag to the area that you want. And then you can expand it by going to the border of it and dragging down and to the left. You can also go to the diagonal point of it in order to kind of be able to do both at the same time. So this darkened area, if the user clicks anywhere on it and the icon will actually change, I believe, once they're hovering over it. If they click anywhere on it, it's going to take us to our target. So our location. I'll explain what target does in a second, or at least what I think it does. I'm not actually sure. So the location we want this clickable area to take us to is 1, the scene we just made. Not scene 1, but 1. Sorry if that's confusing. I think what the target is, I'll show you what I think the target is. I'll just go ahead and show you that. So we're going to hit accept, then we're going to save this. Okay, and you're going to see what this does. So when we click on play, now you see how it turns to a hand when I go over it. So then when we click on it, it's going to take us to this room. All right. Now I think what target does is we're going to let's go to scene 1. I mean not scene 1. Let's go to 1. Sorry everybody. We're going to go to 1, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add. This is just for demonstration purposes. We're going to add some text. Giant is the word there. And then I'm going to add a stop there. And I'm going to add another thing as text. I'm going to say tiny. Right. These mean nothing. I'm just trying to create something for you. Then I'm going to take a label component, okay? I'm going to put it in front of this one. This label is going to be named tiny label. And I'm going to hit accept. Now the reason I've done this is just for demonstration purposes. The label is going to be a target. So if, let's save it and we'll go back to that scene. Now in clickable area, if you remember, we get to pick a location, we get to pick a target. Okay, so location determines which of these scenes we go to. Target determines what label within that scene we go to. If you just leave it blank, it's just going to go to the beginning of the page. But if you hit target, like so, it's going to take us to, it's going to skip until it gets to that label. So it actually might not even, now that I think about it, it won't even load the background image because it's going to skip all that. So if I click on this, oh, I didn't tell it to show text. Hold on, let's go back to, save it, and we can fix that problem I was talking about before too. Okay, so it's going to take us to label, but it didn't show text, so we needed to show the text. And we need to add a show text to giant up here too. And then it won't load this background image because when we come in, it's going to go directly to this label, and there's no background image loading after the label. So let's just copy this and we're going to paste it here. All right. So now we should get an image saved, or an image shown. We'll go back to scene 1 and see what it looks like. So it should just say tiny when we get here. Tiny. See, it skipped giant. Now, in order to show you what the difference would be, if I click on this and say we're not going to the target, we're going to the beginning of the page, and save it, this is what it would do. Click on it. It says giant. You get the difference? So you don't have to have the same image on different you don't have to make a ton of scenes if you're going to be using the same background image and a little bit of different dialogue, for instance, because you can use these labels in the target. All right, now we're going to get rid of all that because we don't actually need it. That was just to show you what target does. Okay, so we still have the page break, the background image, and the stop. Now, on page 1, we're going to add a bunch of clickable images. This is going to, you've basically seen everything I'm going to show you, with the exception of how to add text, because it is kind of particular how you add text. I'll show you that after I do one more clickable area. But what we're going to do is we're going to add multiple clickable areas to this one picture, so it'll be more similar to a top-down map that you click on different rooms in order to go to different scenes. So we got the background image. We need to add a clickable area. So we go to Components, Clickable Area. Okay. And then, we need to add a scene. Let's see. Well, let's go ahead and use the positioning tool in order to, okay, so we're going to need a page 20. So I'm going to just, actually what I'll do is, I'm going to make this doorway take us back to the entryway. So I'm going to adjust it like so, accept, and then I'm going to say, take us back to scene 1. See how I did that? Okay. And now what we're going to do is, now that we've done the clickable area, I'm going to show you how to add text properly. Now this can be kind of confusing. It's not completely intuitive. So if you basically want to show the text before the clickable area. If you show the text after the clickable area, you're going to run into trouble. There's probably ways to fix it, but to make it easy on myself and you, we're just going to put the text before the clickable area. So we'll add some text. I'll add a couple things so that you can see that it's clicking. Hello. My name is Clyde. We are making a game. Oh, I did the exact opposite of what I told you to do. This stuff needs to go before the clickable area, not after it. So I'm going to drag this clickable area down here. So the clickable area is right before stop. So let's see what that does. Now notice that we cannot click on this area because every time we click, it's advancing the text. Okay? Now after this is over, the clickable area appears and then we can click on it. Actually, we need to also tell it to hide the text box, don't we? Remove text. So after the last text, we're going to say remove text and then clickable area. So we get background shows, show text, 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 remove text, clickable area. I'll demonstrate that and then I'm going to show you what happens if you do it the other way because it doesn't work. So this is not clickable currently. You don't see the little hand, see? Because if I click, it's going to advance the text. Boom. Text is advanced. Boom. Text is advanced. Now, because this is the last line, it's going to hide the box next and shows the clickable area. Okay? See how the hand has changed to, the pointers have changed to a hand? Now it's clickable. Now, if we were to put this before all this stuff, it's going to be a mess. Okay. We get the clickable area and we get the text. Okay. If I click over here, the text does not advance. If I click here, the text doesn't advance, nor do we get to go to the next scene. Okay. It's a complete mess. This is a buggy mess. We don't want this. So we want the clickable area to be the last thing before the stop. All right. That's why we do that. So now what we're going to do is add another area we can go to. The easiest way to do that is to add a scene first. Add the scene we're going to get taken to. So our new scene is going to be, what was it, page 20? I think it was called page 20. So we're going to name the new scene 20. We're going to get rid of this text. Go to Components. We want a page break at the beginning of each of our scenes. We want to stop at the end of each of our scenes. Okay. And then we want a background in the middle. In the back, so we browse to pick the background we want. Let's say we want page 20. All right. Now over here, we obviously have the crossfade. So just to show you that we can do something different. I'm going to do a slide, and I'm going to reduce the quantity of time it takes to do that. You have a lot of options on how this background image is going to come in. So we're going to save this, and we're going to go back to the scene that we're going to come to this from, which is 1. And we're going to add another clickable area, and it's going to take us to the location 20, all right? The one we just made. So I click on components, I drag another clickable area here. Okay, I want this one to take us to 20, so I go to location and click on 20, and then the positioning tool, I need to tell it that it's going to be this door. Whenever you click on this door, it's going to take us there. Now, I have to be kind of particular, because if I was to play this game, I would want to click on this poster, and I don't want the poster to take us to 20. I only want the door. And you can only have rectangles, so you got to be kind of specific. Now, I could add multiple clickable areas and put a little tiny square down here if I was really particular, but I'm not. So I'm just going to hit accept, save. Let's see what that looks like. Hello, my name is Clyde. So nothing's clickable right now, right? But now it is. So now if I click on here, it'll take us back to the entryway, right? Click on here to go back to scene 1. Hello, it's going to reload everything. Then if I click here, it's going to take us to our new room, all right? So you can kind of imagine how once we fill this out, it's going to be, you know, you can have a lot of different places it takes you to. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. So we're going to add a new scene because we want to have a place for it to take us to. Let's see, shoot, I forgot what the, let me look at my folder. Do I still have it? I forgot what the room numbers are. So we're going to do 26 now. So 26, create. Okay, and get rid of the text. We're going to go to components. What are we going to add? We're going to add a page break at the beginning. We're going to add a stop at the end. And what do we want in between? That's right. Change background. We want a new background. So we go over to the browse and we choose our page 26. Double click. Let's do a bounce in. It's going to bounce in. All right, we're going to save this. Now we have a place for us to go to. Click on scenes to go back to 1. All right. We're adding a new clickable area, so I click on components, go down to clickable area, drag it over. Location is going to be 26 because that's what we just made. Now we need to hit the positioning tool so we can tell it where clickable area is. Putting it here. Accept. And then we'll save it, and if we click on, oh yeah, it's going to do the text. And if we click on this, it's going to take us to 26. Now, I need to add a clickable area to this to go back to that room, right? Let's do that, and we'll do one more thing before this tutorial's over. So I'm going to go to scene 26. All right, we're going to add a new clickable area. We already have the scene that it's going to take us to, so we don't need to do the scene first. So I'm going to drag clickable area over here, and the target is going to be 1. That way when we click on door 1, it's going to take us back to that room. All right, now the positioning tool, oh, I've got to drag this over here, and accept. Now we'll be able to get back. Now the other thing I'm going to show you is what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this room. I'm going to show you a useful way to think about the targets. Okay, so I'm going to go back to room 1. Now you've noticed that every time we come into room 1, it shows us the same dialogue all over again, right? All this dialogue happens. Okay, well what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that after the first time, it's not going to show us the dialogue anymore. And we're not going to use any coding or nothing. We're just going to add a label. So I'm going to add a label. Oh wait, that won't work because the background image doesn't load. Well, we'll do something tricky. We're just going to have two of these. We're going to copy the background image, and then we're going to paste it after the label. That way we can make sure that a background image happens. Okay, so now we're going to say after dialog is the name of this label. I'm going to camel case it that way. It's easier to read. So accept. So now if we want to make it so that when we come back into the room, it's going to load the background image in the clickable areas, but it's not going to do the text again. Okay? So that, what I need to do is go back to 26. All right? And on the clickable area, it's taking us to the beginning of the page currently, but we want to go to our new target, which is called after dialog. So I'm going to save it. We're going to go back to page 1, and then I'm going to play it to show you how that looks. So we're going to get the dialogue. Okay. Oh, it loaded the background again. That's why that faded out again. That was a cheap trick. You probably should do it in a more professional manner. And then I'm going to click on this door to go into this room. Now when we go back into 1, it's going to take us to that label rather than to the beginning of the page. So we won't see the dialogue. We'll just see the choices. All right? Now an interesting part about this is we didn't do that to the entryway, right? We didn't add a label that... We didn't tell this clickable area to take us to the label. It still takes us to the beginning of the page. So now when I click it, it's going to show us the text again. See how it shows us the text? Now watch, we can actually see it loading in the new image because you're going to see it reload this background. Watch this. See how it dims a little bit? It's reloading that background. That's a little bit of a bug. It's kind of cute, so you could keep it. But I think you kind of get the idea. You can have a bunch of clickable areas that take you to different scenes. Good luck, make a game, and when you make one, tell me about it because I want to play it. Bye.